Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm Dr. S.K. Singh, and I'm glad to have you here. Today, we will be discussing a very important topic, the comparison between deviation and incident, focusing on their concepts and the impact they have on products. Over the course of this presentation, we'll explore what each term means, how they differ, and why understanding these differences is crucial for maintaining quality and safety. Let's get started. In quality-controlled environments, understanding how our processes perform and ensuring that products are consistent really hinges on three key concepts: comparison, deviation, and incident. Comparison involves evaluating current process data against standards or expectations. Deviations are any departures from approved procedures, process parameters, or the expected results. They signal a loss of control and need to be investigated and corrected promptly. Incidents, on the other hand, are unplanned or unexpected events like equipment failures, human errors, or environmental issues that can disrupt normal operations. While incidents may sometimes lead to deviations, they don't always directly impact the quality of the product. By understanding and monitoring these concepts, we can identify variability in our processes, assess potential risks, and make sure our products meet all necessary quality, safety, and regulatory standards. Let's talk about deviations. A deviation, as defined by GMP guidelines, is any departure from approved procedures, specifications, or established standards that occurs during manufacturing, testing, or storage processes. It's essential to understand that regulatory authorities like the FDA and EMA require us to document, investigate, and resolve all deviations through a formal system. Deviations are typically classified into three categories: minor, major, and critical. Minor deviations have no impact on the product quality, so they are less concerning. Major deviations, on the other hand, could potentially impact the product, so they need careful evaluation. Critical deviations are the most serious. They directly affect safety, identity, strength, or purity of the product. Examples include temperature excursions that go beyond validated limits, incorrect weighing of raw materials, using uncalibrated equipment, or deviating from our standard operating procedures. Recognizing and properly managing deviations is crucial for maintaining product quality and ensuring patient safety. When we encounter deviations in our products or systems, it can have a significant impact on several critical areas. First, let's talk about product quality. Deviations may lead to contamination, degradation, or even batch failure, which obviously affects the integrity of the product we deliver. Next, safety and efficacy are at stake. If there's a deviation, the therapeutic performance of the product can be compromised, potentially putting patients at risk. Regulatory compliance is another key concern. Deviations increase the risk of receiving warning letters, product recalls, or even facing rejection by regulatory agencies, which can be very costly and damaging to our reputation. Then there's system integrity. When deviations occur, they often reveal gaps in our process control and quality systems, highlighting areas where our controls might need strengthening. It's important to remember that all deviations need to be thoroughly addressed. This means conducting a root cause analysis to understand exactly what caused the issue, implementing corrective and preventive actions to avoid recurrence, and ensuring proper documentation and closure of each case. By managing deviations effectively, we can ensure consistent product quality, safeguard patient safety, and maintain compliance with regulatory standards. This is a crucial part of our overall quality management system. An incident, in the context of our operations, is any unplanned or unexpected event that disrupts the normal flow within a system, facility, or process. These events are not part of the routine and can vary in nature and severity. Regulatory agencies like the FDA and EMA emphasize that such incidents must be carefully recorded, assessed, and managed. This is crucial to understand their potential impact on product quality and ensuring ongoing compliance. It's important to recognize that incidents may or may not directly impact the product itself. However, they can lead to deviations if they compromise process control. For example, A power failure during manufacturing or storage can halt operations or affect environmental conditions, leading to potential quality issues. Equipment breakdowns and system malfunctions are also common incidents that can disrupt production. Environmental factors, such as HVAC failures, can affect temperature and humidity control, which are critical for maintaining product integrity. Accidental spills or contamination events pose risks that need immediate attention to prevent quality compromise. Lastly, data loss or computerized system failures highlight the importance of data integrity and backup systems in our operations. Overall, understanding these types of incidents and their potential consequences helps us better prepare and respond, maintaining the quality and compliance standards our industry demands. Let's take a closer look at the impact on products and systems when an incident occurs. First, product quality can be affected if there's exposure to uncontrolled conditions, things like temperature or humidity that aren't properly managed. This can compromise the integrity of the product itself. Next, process disruption can lead to delays in production or even batch interruptions, which can affect overall throughput and timelines. Data integrity is also critical. If records are lost or corrupted, it can cause serious issues in tracking and verifying product history and compliance. There's also the compliance risk. If incidents aren't handled properly, regulatory bodies might observe or audit us, which can lead to penalties or increased scrutiny. And finally, system reliability can reveal weaknesses in our infrastructure or risk management practices, highlighting areas that need strengthening. Now, turning to regulatory expectations, immediate reporting and thorough documentation are essential. We need to assess the risk quickly to understand how the incident might impact the product. If applicable, it's important to link the incident to any deviations we've identified. Implementing corrective and preventive actions, or CAPA, is key to preventing recurrence. Proper tracking and closure of these actions ensure accountability and completeness. Remember, effective incident management isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about maintaining operational continuity, ensuring our systems are reliable, and most importantly, protecting product quality and patient safety. That's the ultimate goal we're all working toward. Let's look at an example of a deviation. The SOP, or Standard Operating Procedure, states that the temperature should be maintained at 25 degrees C. However, the actual recorded temperature is 30 degrees C. This difference indicates a process deviation, which means the process is not operating within the expected parameters. Now, what could cause such a deviation? There are several common reasons. Human error is one. Maybe someone set the temperature incorrectly or forgot to adjust the equipment. Equipment malfunction is another possibility, such as a faulty thermostat or sensor. Environmental changes, like fluctuations in room temperature or humidity, can also impact the process. Lastly, incorrect procedures, perhaps not following the proper steps or guidelines, can lead to deviations. Understanding these causes is crucial because recognizing the root of a deviation helps us take corrective actions and improve our processes. This ties back to our overall goal of maintaining quality and consistency in our operations. When we look at the impact of deviations on services, one of the key issues is process inefficiency. This often leads to delays in production or service delivery, which can affect customer satisfaction and overall operations. Additionally, we see increased operational costs because of rework, investigations, and corrective actions that are needed to fix problems that arise. Customer dissatisfaction is another major concern. When services are delayed or of poor quality, it damages trust and can lead to a loss of reliability in our systems. Customers expect consistent, dependable service, and deviations threaten that expectation. On the compliance front, deviations can cause issues with meeting service-level agreements or regulatory requirements, which can have serious consequences for the organization. Moving on to the impact on products, quality defects are a primary concern. A product might not meet the specified standards for potency or purity, which compromises its effectiveness. Changes in process conditions can reduce the product's stability, leading to degradation over time. Batch failure or rejection is another critical aspect. If a batch doesn't meet quality standards, it may need to be discarded, resulting in waste and additional costs. There are also safety risks involved. If the product is compromised, it could potentially harm consumers or patients. Finally, regulatory noncompliance is a significant risk. It can lead to recalls, warnings, or even bans on products, which can have long-term impacts on the company's reputation and market presence. Overall, deviations can have far-reaching effects, not just on the immediate product or service, but on trust, safety, and compliance as well. That's why understanding and managing these deviations is so crucial to maintaining quality and reliability across our operations. Let's look at some common causes of incidents in our operations. First, human error can play a significant role. This might happen if someone lacks proper training or awareness, leading to mistakes in handling equipment or materials. Sometimes, procedures are not followed correctly, especially the standard operating procedures, or SOPs, which are there to ensure safety and consistency. Next, equipment failure is another major factor. Mechanical breakdowns can occur unexpectedly, often due to poor maintenance or calibration issues. Aging machinery or faulty equipment can also increase the risk of failures during critical moments. Environmental factors are also important to consider. Fluctuations in temperature or humidity can impact processes, and power failures or HVAC system malfunctions can cause disruptions that compromise safety and quality. Process or system failures can happen when there's inadequate process control or errors within software or system components. Sometimes, the design of the system itself might be flawed, leading to failures under certain conditions. Material issues shouldn't be overlooked. Using contaminated or incorrect raw materials or facing supply chain problems can introduce risks that lead to incidents. External factors, such as natural events like fires or floods or utility interruptions, can also cause unexpected incidents. For example, a power failure during production, a machine breakdown in the middle of manufacturing, or a chemical spill in the lab are real-world examples that illustrate these causes. Understanding these causes helps us identify potential vulnerabilities and improve our safety strategies, ensuring smoother and safer operations overall. Incidents can have a wide range of impacts on our operations, and these can be both direct and indirect. One major area affected is product quality. When incidents occur, they can lead to degradation of product quality, often due to exposure to uncontrolled conditions like temperature or humidity. This also raises the risk of contamination or chemical instability, which can compromise the safety and efficacy of the product. Another key impact is batch rejection or loss. Interruptions or incomplete manufacturing processes can result in wasted materials and, of course, financial losses. Safety and efficacy are also at stake. If a product's effectiveness is reduced or if it could potentially harm end users or patients, that's a serious concern. Regulatory compliance can also be compromised. Incidents may lead to failures in meeting GMP requirements, increasing the likelihood of audits, observations, or even product recalls. Production delays are another common consequence, often caused by equipment failures or system downtime, which disrupts supply chains and delivery timelines. And we can't overlook data integrity issues. Loss or corruption of critical production data can impact traceability and documentation, which are essential for compliance and quality assurance. Overall, understanding these impacts helps us appreciate how incidents can ripple through our entire operation, affecting not just immediate product quality and safety, but also our reputation and regulatory standing. Now, let's take a closer look at the relationship between deviation and incident. First, when we compare processes or events, comparison helps us detect variations. Deviations are identified through this comparison, highlighting where things are not aligning with the expected process. An incident, on the other hand, is an event that may cause a deviation. It's important to understand that incidents can trigger deviations, but not every incident necessarily results in a deviation. Looking at the table, we see that deviations are typically process-related and sometimes predictable. This means we might notice them ahead of time if we're paying close attention. Incidents are more event-related and usually unexpected, catching us off guard more often. In terms of impact, deviations directly affect the process itself, often leading to a change or disruption. Incidents may or may not impact the final product, depending on their nature and severity. To sum up, the key difference between the two is that deviations are generally process-focused and somewhat predictable, whereas incidents are unexpected events that can trigger deviations, but don't always do so. Recognizing these distinctions is crucial for effective quality management and maintaining control over our processes. Let's wrap up with some key takeaways. First, comparison is crucial because it helps us ensure accuracy throughout our processes. When we compare data or procedures, we can catch errors early on. Deviations, on the other hand, often highlight where there might be issues in the process itself, giving us a chance to address them before they escalate. Incidents are typically unexpected disruptions that can occur, and recognizing them quickly allows us to respond effectively. Now, proper handling of these incidents and deviations is essential because it directly impacts several vital aspects. For example, maintaining product quality, ensuring patient safety, and meeting regulatory compliance standards. All of these are interconnected, and by staying vigilant and proactive, we can uphold the highest standards in our work. This final point ties everything together. By focusing on accurate comparisons, addressing deviations promptly, and managing incidents correctly, we safeguard not just our processes, but also the well-being of our patients and our organization's integrity. For further support, please don't hesitate to contact us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional information you might need. And with that, I want to sincerely thank you for your time and attention today. Your engagement is what makes these discussions meaningful. Remember, we're committed to supporting you every step of the way. Thank you again, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.